Greetings to the CEO, CFO, and Ford management team, and a very warm hello to the senior executives of MUFG. Before I start, I would like to introduce myself, and I hope that you and your loved ones are safe during this time. I am Collin Concepcion, Morehouse College sophomore, business concentration and finance major from Los Angeles, California. Knowing that the Ford company motto is to go further, the real question today is, how much further can they go? Let's discuss what we already know about Ford. Ford has accumulated $155 billion of debt as of December 2019. The company's quarterly EBITDA performance has also declined significantly over the past year, and its 2019 fourth quarter performance was 41% less than it was a year ago. To combat this, we know Ford is focused on implementing a projected 2-year reconstruction plan. This plan would focus on its expansion towards the global markets and the manufacturing of 4D EV or electrical vehicles models by 2022. Let's explore some alternatives. Ford's 2019 debt to EBITDA is an eyebrow raiser at 15.9 times. This compares to much lower figures recorded by their competitors, with General Motors at 8 times and Tesla at 5.6 times. In 2014, Ford's share price was $100, but has since declined dramatically to $7 per share. In 2019 alone, Ford recalled over 200,000 vehicles, which included the highly prized F-150 model. Given the recent negative effects of COVID-19 and a potentially looming near-term recession, Ford is more likely to enter financial distress despite the possibility of a government bailout. As a result, I've come up with some innovative options to help Ford reduce its current 15.9 times leverage. On slide 4, I've gathered information of potential solutions to help solve, if not reduce, Ford's problems. Potential solution A represents a partial sale to Tesla. Solution B is sticking to the course. And solution C is a merger with Ford and General Motors. The first row represents my recommendations, the second, potential results, the third, broad result, and the fourth, effect on leverage. Here is potential solution A. How much of the company should Ford sell to Tesla? Ford should sell 20% of its auto segment to Tesla for $36 billion. This is so that Ford can still maintain control and that Tesla would have enough room to evolve. Some pros: Ford would reduce leverage from the partial sale, Ford can avoid financial distress, and Ford can benefit from Tesla's market share in the EV sector. Some cons: Tesla is technology-based, and that changes the company of Ford, and the purchase may chase away Ford's existing customers. Potential solution B suggests that Ford should stick to its course. Recognizing the reconstruction plan, Ford should produce more EV models to compete and avoid recalls wherever possible. Some pros: with improvements in earnings and profitability, investors would invest heavily in shares, driving the prices higher. The higher the earnings, the faster the leverage can reduce long term. Also, the company can preserve its corporate culture. Some cons: the company is currently paying out 65% of its net income, which is probably unstable for the future, and the company may not be able to reduce the leverage in the near term. Potential solution C reflects a merger with General Motors. The most likely result of this merger would not affect Ford. General Motors, however, would probably have to forfeit some of their brands to fulfill the merger. The merger would total $154 billion. Some pros: it would be easier for both to compete against large companies. The combined expertise and the transaction would generate synergies, which would reduce expenses. Some cons: the Ford brand would forfeit their independence. It would require approval by US regulators, and the Ford entity would have less dominance in Europe. The main objective I want to address is what happens to Ford if the decision is to stay its course. More likely, we must question if Ford can adapt quickly enough to a market that is increasingly becoming electrified. If Ford does continue its current path, it should be realized that Ford has a lower chance of surviving the recession. Shareholders must be willing to hold their Ford stock, and later, a merger should be considered. A potential setback I'd like to point out is that Ford is primarily family-owned. This may cause issues in the future. To conclude with my presentation, my recommendation is that Ford should sell a portion of its auto segment to Tesla for 20%, which is $36 billion. This will help Ford reduce leverage from 15.9 to 12.7 times. Understand that Ford is playing catch-up in this EV market, as you all know, and Tesla is beating them. Now is the time for action. Ford will be able to evolve and will also be more competitive. I would like to think this presentation was comprehensive, but I would like to address any questions you may have, as this concludes my presentation. Thank you.